Welcome back to AI in Action, where we explore all the cool ways AI is changing things up. Today, we're going to really dive deep into how AI is changing our cities. We're going to be looking at this super advanced tool called CityMind.
Yeah, it's a really exciting time to be working in urban development. Cities all over, all over the world are facing some pretty big challenges
Oh, yeah.
like traffic, pollution, and public transport systems that are just overwhelmed.
Totally.
But CityMind, it kind of gives us like a peek into a future where, all those problems could be a thing of the past.
Okay, so paint a picture for our listeners.
Right.
Imagine your city, but way better. Your
Mhm.
commute is way shorter, the air is cleaner, and public transportation is so good everybody wants to use it.
Right.
That's what CityMind is all about.
Yeah, and CityMind can do this because it uses machine learning.
Okay.
It looks at tons of data, like traffic patterns, how people are using public transport, the weather, even like local event schedules.
So it's not just reacting to what's happening right now, but it's actually predicting and anticipating future trends.
Yeah, exactly.
That's amazing.
Yeah. By processing all that information, CityMind can predict traffic jams before they even happen and suggest better routes for public transport.
Oh, wow.
And it's all dynamic, constantly adjusting to make things run smoothly.
So it's like having a super smart traffic conductor for the entire city.
Yeah, exactly.
Has CityMind actually been used in any real cities?
Absolutely.
Oh, cool.
They've tested it out in a few pilot cities, and the results are pretty amazing. We've seen commute times drop by as much as 20%, carbon emissions going down because traffic is flowing better, and a lot more people are choosing to use public transport because it's so much more efficient and convenient.
Those are some seriously impressive results.
Yeah.
Less time stuck in traffic, cleaner air for everyone, and a more sustainable way to get around. It's no wonder people are so excited about CityMind and, this whole idea of smart cities.
Yeah, it's really caught people's attention. Even Dr. Hannah Green, she's a well-respected urban planner called CityMind a quantum leap forward in urban design.
Wow, a quantum leap forward.
Yeah.
So it makes you think, what would your ideal smart city look like?
Mm.
What parts of this future are you most excited about? Think about that for a second. Now, the potential benefits are obvious, but we also need to think about the bigger picture.
Yeah, you're right. Optimizing cities is great, but we also need to make sure that everyone can benefit from this technology, not just the wealthy,
That's a really important point.
Hmm.
We can't just blindly adopt new technology without thinking about how it might affect everyone. But let's zoom out a bit and think beyond transportation. Where else could we use this AI-driven approach in a city?
Well, if you think about it, the possibilities are almost endless. We could optimize how deliveries are made, make emergency response times faster, even manage big crowds at events more efficiently.
Wow, you're right. From making sure those pizza deliveries arrive hot to keeping people safe, CityMind could totally change so many things about city life.
Totally. This kind of AI could change how we use resources in cities, making them more efficient and sustainable across the board.
It's exciting to think about the potential of AI, not just for getting around, but for making our cities better places to live overall.
Yeah, it really does open up a world of possibilities. We always think about AI as robots and self-driving cars. But CityMind shows that AI can have a huge impact on the things we might take for granted, but are super important for how cities work.
You're absolutely right. It's about using AI to create cities that are not just practical, but actually enjoyable places to be. Cities that work smarter, not harder, for everyone.
That's exactly what makes the conversation about smart cities so interesting. It's not about technology for its own sake. It's about using technology to solve real problems and make people's lives better in tangible ways.
So where does all this lead us? What does the future hold for our cities with all this AI?
That's the big question, isn't it? Could AI solutions like CityMind become the new standard for urban planning? Will we move away from reacting to problems and towards a more proactive, data-driven approach to managing our cities?
It's an exciting idea to think about. Imagine cities designed from the start with AI built in. Cities that can adapt and evolve in real time to meet the needs of their people.
And that's where we need everyone's imagination. We need urban planners, policymakers, tech people, and everyday citizens all working together to dream up and build these future cities.
It's a team effort, that's for sure. But it all starts with awareness. Knowing that these solutions exist, understanding what they can do, and talking about how we want to shape our cities.
You got it. And that's where platforms like AI for the People are so important. By sharing these stories of innovation, they get people curious and inspired to think differently about what AI can do.
Couldn't agree more. It's about making information accessible and empowering everyone to be part of the conversation. Now, before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to leave you with something to think about. We've talked a lot about how AI can make cities more efficient, sustainable, and enjoyable. But what about the human side of things?
That's a really important question.
Will all this technology bring us closer together as communities, or could it actually lead to more isolation and inequality?
It's definitely something we need to think carefully about.
It's a tricky balance, isn't it? Using technology effectively while still protecting the things that make cities lively and human.
For sure. And at the end of the day, it's up to us as citizens and as a society to make sure that technology serves humanity, not the other way around.
Well said. There's a lot to consider as we navigate this exciting but complicated world. But one thing's for sure, the future of our cities is closely tied to how AI develops.
Understanding that connection is the first step toward building a future where technology and humanity can both thrive.
That brings us to the end of part one of our deep dive into CityMind and the future of smart cities. But the conversation doesn't stop here. We encourage you to keep learning about this topic, to think about what AI could mean for your own city, and to share your thoughts and ideas with others.
Yeah. What stood out to you most from all of this? Was it the potential for shorter commutes, cleaner air, maybe the bigger picture stuff like city planning and resource management?
And don't forget, you can follow at AI4thepeople for more fascinating insights into how AI is shaping our world. Thanks for joining us on this journey, and we'll be back soon with part two. Until then, keep those minds curious and those cities smart.
Picking up where we left off, it's interesting how CityMind kind of flips the script on urban planning.
Yeah.
Instead of just reacting to problems after they happen, it uses predictive analysis to kind of anticipate those problems.
Yeah.
And stop them before they even start.
That's a really important point. It's like moving from putting out fires all the time to actually preventing them in the first place.
Right.
Which would make our city so much better.
Yeah, and one of the most exciting things about CityMind is how it could help with traffic, which is, a huge problem in so many cities.
Oh, yeah.
By making traffic flow better and making public transport more appealing, CityMind could save people so much time that they're currently just wasting sitting in traffic.
I'm sure a lot of our listeners know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Sitting in traffic is the worst. It's like watching your life tick away.
Yeah, it's like, where did that hour go?
Exactly. If we could get even a little bit of that time back, it would make a huge difference.
Absolutely. Think about what people could do with an extra hour or two every day, spend more time with family, work on hobbies, maybe just relax for a bit.
Yeah.
It's all about making life in the city better.
It's also a big win for the environment. Less traffic means fewer cars just sitting there with the engines running, which means less pollution and cleaner air for everyone.
Exactly. CityMind could make our cities not just more efficient, but also more sustainable and healthier places to be. And that's really what smart cities are all about.
It's amazing how technology like CityMind is making us rethink what city life could be.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, how does CityMind actually work? Can you break it down for us a little?
Sure. CityMind combines these really advanced machine learning algorithms with a bunch of real-time data feeds to create like a living model of the city's transportation network. It looks at everything: traffic patterns, public transport schedules, weather, even special events that might draw big crowds.
So it's always learning and adapting to what's going on in the city, right?
Yeah, pretty much. That's what makes it so powerful. It can predict where traffic might back up and adjust things on the fly, like traffic lights, bus routes, even suggest other ways to get around.
That sounds incredibly complicated.
It is.
Are there any, real-world examples of how CityMind has been used to fix traffic problems?
Absolutely. There's this one great example from one of the pilot cities. They had a big problem with rush hour traffic, especially around this major transit hub.
Oh, yeah, those can be nightmares.
They are. So CityMind looked at all the traffic data and figured out what was causing the problem. Turns out a lot of commuters were showing up at the hub just a few minutes before their trains were leaving.
Oh, so everyone was arriving at the same time.
Yeah, causing a bottleneck.
So how did CityMind fix that?
Well, it looked at past data and real-time passenger numbers and could predict when people were going to arrive. Then it sent them notifications suggesting they adjust their travel times by just a few minutes.
Huh. And did it work?
Yeah, it worked really well. By staggering people's arrival times by just a few minutes, CityMind cleared up the congestion at the hub, making the commute a lot smoother for everyone.
That's a perfect example of how AI can be used to solve even small problems that make a big difference.
Exactly.
It's about using data and insights to make smarter decisions that improve how the city works.
Yeah, and it shows how important it is to have a data-driven approach to city planning. By using AI and machine learning,
Mm.
we can get a much better understanding of how our cities actually function, and then use that knowledge to make them work better for everyone.
But it's not just about making things run smoothly, right?
Right.
It's also about making cities more enjoyable for people to live in.
Absolutely.
Right.
One of the big goals of the whole smart city movement is to create cities that are not just efficient, but also really great places to live.
Yeah.
CityMind helps with that by freeing up people's time, reducing stress, and making it easier for people to get to the things they need and want in the city.
It's about making cities more livable and more exciting.
Hmm.
But we can't forget that there are also challenges and concerns as we start using these technologies more and more.
You're right. We need to be careful about things like data privacy and security.
Oh, for sure.
It's really important to make sure that all the data CityMind collects is used responsibly and ethically,
Yeah.
and that people have control over their own information.
Transparency and accountability are key here. People need to know how their data is being used and what's being done to protect their privacy.
Absolutely. We also need to be careful about algorithmic bias.
Right.
We need to make sure that the algorithms CityMind uses are fair and equitable, and that they don't just reinforce existing inequalities or even create new ones.
That's a really important point.
Yeah,
We need to make sure that these technologies benefit everyone, not just a select few.
absolutely. And that means we need to have ongoing conversations and collaborations between the people making policies, the people developing the technology, and everyday citizens. Everyone needs a voice in shaping the future of our cities.
It's about working together to create a shared vision for the future of city life. And speaking of the future, what do you think the next phase of smart city development will look like?
Well, one of the most exciting areas is how we can combine AI with other new technologies like the Internet of Things and 5G networks.
Wow, that sounds super futuristic.
Yeah.
Can you give us an example of what that might look like?
Imagine a city where traffic lights can talk to self-driving cars, adjusting traffic flow in real time.
Oh, wow.
Or buildings and infrastructure with sensors that can detect problems like leaks or damage before they become big issues.
It's like our cities are becoming these living, breathing organisms, constantly adapting to make things better for the people who live there.
Exactly. And AI is going to be a huge part of that, helping us to create cities that are more efficient, more sustainable, and ultimately more focused on people.
It's a future full of both challenges and possibilities. But if we work together and stay focused on innovation, we can use AI to create cities that are truly worthy of the 21st century and beyond.
I totally agree. It's a really exciting time to be working in urban development, and I can't wait to see how these technologies continue to shape our cities.
As we wrap up our deep dive into AI and smart cities, it's clear that we've just scratched the surface here. CityMind is just one example of how AI can help us tackle real problems and create cities that are efficient, green, and awesome places to live.
Yeah, it's been pretty fascinating, right?
Totally.
We've seen how AI can make traffic flow better, reduce all that congestion, make public transportation better, and even just make our cities nicer places to live.
But like with any powerful technology,
Yeah.
there are some things we need to think about.
Right.
We talk about data privacy and security and making sure algorithms are fair. And those are conversations we need to keep having as AI becomes more a part of our lives.
Absolutely. We have to be careful and make sure AI is used ethically, responsibly, and that everyone benefits, not just a small group of people.
We've also talked about how important it is for policymakers, tech experts, and everyday people to work together to shape the future of our cities.
Right.
It's not just about throwing technology at problems. It's about using it to make cities that put people first and meet their needs.
It's about creating a shared vision for what cities can be, a vision that uses AI but also keeps the things that make cities vibrant and human.
Right. Think about how AI can help us build communities, improve access to important services, and support cultural diversity.
Oh.
It's really exciting to imagine AI helping us create cities that aren't just functional, but truly great places to live, work, and just hang out.
Definitely. And as we go forward, we need to keep asking questions, challenging what we think we know, and having open discussions about how AI fits into our lives. The future of our cities isn't set in stone. We're creating it right now, and AI is going to be a big part of that.
So as we finish up this deep dive, we want to leave you with one last thing to think about.
Okay.
As AI keeps evolving and changing our cities, what kind of city do you want to live in? What values should we use to guide how AI is developed and used in our cities?
Those are tough questions, but they're super important to ask as we navigate all this new technology. The decisions we make today will shape the cities of tomorrow and affect the quality of life for future generations.
And for anyone who wants to dig deeper into these ideas, check out AI for the People. They're doing some amazing work to make information about AI accessible and help people understand how it affects our world. You can follow them on social media at AI for the People for more information and insights.
It's been great exploring this with you.
And to all our listeners, thanks for joining us on this journey. Keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep imagining the possibilities. Until next time, stay curious and keep those minds engaged.